Man, I love that. You have unlimited creativity. Gil, you wanted to add something as well, I mean, to the money issue as well, because, I mean, you've just sold your company recently, haven't you? For how much? 1 billion rand.
That's rumoured.
1 billion rand.
It's not official.
That's what Jozi just told me.
Bill, if you just say no comment.
No comment. Thank you, Vinny. Vinny's like a bit of a mentor, you see. So, you see, someone who's younger than me can still be a mentor. So, yeah, I think...
I mean, when you started your company,
yeah.
What did you start off with?
We started with forecourt. But, no, I think, let me make it simple. I think asking for money when you're starting your business is actually very, very lazy and kind of stupid, and I'll tell you why. Because when you start your business, generally, it's worth very little. So the equity that you give up is very cheap because your business is valued at very low. So what happens is you're going to give away a big chunk of equity to some financier who happens to have money for whatever reason. And next thing, you're the one who's waking up every morning, killing yourself, weekends, standing in the shower at 6 in the morning, planning your attack. He ain't thinking about shit. Okay? And when it becomes a success, you're sharing in the profits. And then when it becomes really valuable, okay, they're getting all this money for doing nothing but having funded you originally. And you're the one who's killing yourself working hard. So I think it's being lazy up front. And you'd be surprised how desperation will create innovation. Necessity is the mother of invention. Okay? So I'd challenge anyone here who says money's a problem. And I understand capital is always important. But you'd be surprised how often you can find ways around it. And in our book, we spend a whole chapter talking about the various ways of raising capital and valuing your business and making sure that you actually understand why you need money in the first place and how there are workarounds from actually trying to raise money, especially equity money. Equity money is very expensive. I must just say one other thing. One of the interesting things that happened to us is when we watched the show, we saw the show for the first time when it aired. Because we recorded a whole lot of investments in a row, and then afterwards they edited it and put it together into episodes. So we all watched it for the first time live. And it was weird because we were all on Twitter, and it was a really amazing experience because you're watching the show in real time for the first time, and you're watching Twitter comments, and a lot of people said, "Oh, I can't believe this guy's trying to steal this guy's business." you know, and we were like, "No, we're not looking to do that." Okay, and people were like, "I'm so glad he said no because he shouldn't have given away 60% of his business." But the point is, the value of the business was zero. 60% of nothing is still nothing. So it's important to understand why you're trying to raise money and what kind of partners you're getting on board. And I want to turn it full circle and say, it's also important to understand what kind of partners you should be looking for. Because very often you say no to people like us, and you don't want to give away 50% of your business to a dragon. Meantime, that dragon can add 10 times more value, and I'm not talking just about us, I'm talking about any partners. So I believe in partnership. I have a partner in my business. I've got other shareholders on board, not because we wanted the money, but because we wanted partners who could add value to our business. So, 2 lessons, simply stated. 1, don't give up your equity for money. 2, if you can find great partners, and not necessarily financial partners, but guys will guide you, mentor you, open doors for you, have networks. Find partners that can help build your business. Because I would always rather have 1% of 100 Rand than 100% of R1. Always. Same value, different scenario. Yeah.
What a fantastic, inspirational answer. But you know what I find as well is, I don't know about you guys, but you know, living on the continent that we're living in over here, I get inspired every single day by the things that I see on this continent. I travel, I was in Nigeria last month, and just meeting people like yourselves this evening, entrepreneurs, people coming up with ideas. But sometimes I often think that we often look outside of our borders, and we think, oh, but look how they're doing it there, you know, we need to do the same over here. Man, this continent is original. This is where the world is focusing their attention towards Africa. It's the youngest continent in the world. This is where it's happening. This is where the big innovation is going to happen, because as you said earlier, we innovate from where you have nothing. And this is why this continent is so exciting. But how important is it to be original? Because you said earlier, Jozi, that, yeah, forget about all the ideas. I mean, most of the ideas have already been done, but do it really well. Do it with excellence. That's what's going to differentiate you from the past, from the others. But how important is it to be really original in your approach? And how do you be original when Jozi says that most of the things have already been done?
Guys, I think...
Let me jump in there. I often think people worry too much about competition and not enough on market size. Okay? Because there is a really big market out there, and it's fragmented, and it's lots of competitors, and no one's really giving a great consumer experience. There's a huge opportunity. Look at THUD, perfect example. Taxi industry, massive worldwide, highly fragmented, bad experience. Look at with that. You don't have to go into an industry that's but in fact, the fewer competitors, the more concerned I am, because there's probably less margin to work with, less customers, it's harder to sell. The bigger the industry and the more fragmented it is, the better it is to go and consolidate and win business from weaker players. You know, you want to disrupt industries. You want to go in and give a better service at a better price, more value add, and have customers leaving the current providers for you. So those are the type of industries I'm not going into.
I think on my side, guys, it's very simple. The more the continent has more problems, the more the opportunities. It's that simple. Because as entrepreneurs, we are finding solutions. So the more solutions there are to find, the more opportunities you have. I do a very simple business. My core business, I manage properties on behalf of municipalities. Because there's too much properties that they need to manage. So for me, it's very simple. I use technology to manage their properties. And it's such a simple solution. I didn't have to innovate it. It was just a big need within the municipalities. You understand? So that's why I'm in that space. So I provide software solutions that help our country move forward. I'm not started band, to some extent. But what I'm trying to say is that because there are so many ideas out there and so many solutions that need to be provided, I find myself supporting so many entrepreneurs that have got these great ideas that I know that they are very needed. So, but I give them an opportunity and I back them up. But most of what I've realized, guys, is that some guys are really just not born entrepreneurs. It's just a fact. Because I would find that this guy has got a great idea, but he's unable to execute it and he's unable to focus on it. Because for me, I think there are people sometimes who are self-employed. They just want to work and not build a business. They just want to work, they just want to hustle people. In fact, I don't like hustlers. Because hustlers, they just want to do something, hustle someone, get something and disappear. You understand? They don't build their businesses, they don't build processes, they don't build disciplines and build a company so that you can provide that solution better in the near future and find even better solutions. So I don't believe in hustlers, I believe in people that build businesses. And if you build on an opportunity, you're bound to build a long-term business. Thank you.
If I may come in as well, I do, to a large extent, believe that the human race has probably thought up everything that we need to think up.
Yeah.
But the opportunity we have today is how we do it better, how we do it differently. So, and I think a lot of the time you sit here and you hear somebody talking about an idea and you say, well, that sounds familiar. I've seen this somewhere, I've heard this somewhere. And what investors do now is we look at that unique value proposition. How are you going to do it differently? So earlier I talked about identifying the problem. It sounds simple, but actually that's really the gist of it. So Vinny was making an example of the taxi industry, a very old industry, probably saturated. If you try to start to get a cab today for yourself as a business, everybody will tell you that it's saturated. But somebody said, well, somebody's not doing it well. And that's what actually made the difference. So there was nothing new about the industry. It's just the way that they identified, firstly they identified the problem, and then they found a way of solving that problem within an existing industry. And I think that's the future. Jozi was asking me, for instance, about do we fund ideas, and I said, well, the ideas are a dime a dozen. And what we find is that because we know that a lot of ideas have already been thought up before, somebody has to first demonstrate that the idea actually has potential. So you have to have moved from idea stage, so from concept stage to actually testing the market, whether you're a prototype or whether you're about to commercialize, in order for people to believe that there's a market. Because I'll probably say, well, I've seen this before, but if you can prove to me that there's a market, if you can prove to me that it has been tested, then actually that's when it also starts becoming a real business opportunity.
I love what you said, because the founder of Airbnb in South Africa. So this guy's name is Brian Chesky. You need to Google the story because it's the most fascinating story, but it just highlights exactly what you said. There were two guys, they were living in San Francisco. They had rented this apartment, they couldn't afford to pay the apartment's rent, and there was a conference that was going on in San Francisco, so they bought one of these mattresses that you put air inside them, and they advertised on one of the websites. I think it was one of the online websites, cheap accommodation, you can come and stay here to supplement the income to pay the rent. Okay, that was in 2007. This company today, Airbnb, anybody stayed with Airbnb? Yep. All right, check this guys out. They now have 1.5 million listings around the world. Okay, they are in 290 countries, 24,000 cities around the world, and in the next few weeks, they will reach their target of 1 million sleeps in their apartment every night. So it's like basically the Uber of apartments. So you got an apartment, you rent it out, and this company is worth over $20 billion. And it highlights what you said. And what this guy said, which was really interesting to me, he said to me, when he told the idea to his grandfather, he says, his grandfather said to him, but this is not a new idea. I mean, people are doing this already. But he found a better way of doing it and delivering a better solution. Yeah. And that's what you said earlier, Jozi.
Can I, maybe if I may, just trying to land it here at home. So my grandfather used to have a shop, and he did pretty well in the shop. I imagine 60% of us here had grandfathers or uncles who had a spaza shop or a taxi. Yeah? Say preach. Preach. Here we go. I'm going to testify. So, my grandfather had a shop, and he did pretty well at it. He really did, right? But what was interesting is he started his shop in the year 1979, which was exactly the same year ShopRite was started. I am very good friends with the guys at ShopRite. Today, ShopRite will do 118 billion rand in turnover. My grandfather's shop doesn't exist anymore. And let me. So a lot of people hear 118 billion. Let me break it down for you. 118 billion a year in annual turnover is 10 billion rand a month. It's as near as makes no difference, 2.5 billion rand a week, 500 million rand a day, 50 million rand an hour. So the next time you walk past a ShopRite, you go on your knees and you pray to the gods of ShopRite. But for me, the real question it highlights, which is I think, and we speak a lot about this in the book, I think it's in the 7th chapter, about the difference between entrepreneurs and growth entrepreneurs. A lot of us guys, because of the history of this country, don't have a DNA of understanding growth. Let's be honest about it. We come from a past where we were not allowed to grow our businesses. So I didn't have a model of how to grow a business because nobody in my family had done it. Nobody in my ecosystem had done it, which means you have to unlearn the learnings of being a black entrepreneur, which means money, car, suit, house. Money, car, suit, cell phone, money, car, suit, girls. Right? So, and it's girls for girls as well these days. I mean, like this, but
Clubbing.
Yeah, and clubs. So it is because in our minds. No, I don't know anything about these bottles you're talking about.
Pop bottles, guys.
So for me, I mean, a huge part of the reason we did the project was in the mindset of being a growth entrepreneur. It's what Gil's speaking about. A growth entrepreneur looks and says, I've got this business, it's not really worth anything, I'm trying to raise capital for it, and if I partner with that guy, he's going to help me take my business to 100 million. And if that, at 100 million, I'll own 20% of it, I'm going to do the deal. That's growth entrepreneur thinking. Survival entrepreneur thinking is not, I want to own my business. And then you'll own your business and your problems and your short-term capital issues and the rest of it, and just like my grandfather, you die with your business. And there's a real mindset shift, I think, as black people, we have to make in understanding what it means to build a corporate entity that will outlive you.
Right, nice one. Let us.
He's talking about being a self-employed. His grandfather was literally self-employed, not necessarily an entrepreneur, right? That's what he's talking about.
All right, interesting stuff. Now, listen, I'm sure that you guys have questions to ask as well. So if you have a question to ask, raise your hands. Vinny, if you want to add something to the conversation as well, just shout out, okay? We're right there with you. But, I mean, here's your chance, guys. If you've got a question, prepare your question. I see there's one at the back over there. We'll get back to you there. Vinny, you wanted to say something? He's checking his email. Are you multitasking, Vinny? He's multitasking. Are you multitasking?
I'm starting to hear you. Man.
Okay. Are we saying, are you multitasking? Did you want to add anything to that conversation?
I'm multitasking. Yeah, I'm kind of multitasking. I apologize.
That's fine. It's fine. So we got a question at the back. All right. I'm going to move to the back with the microphone.
Yeah, those very good questions.
Yeah. We got some questions. Right. You had your hand up first. Now, guys, I'm going to ask you all, because we've got limited time, one question. Brief question, get straight to the point. Yo.
Hi, can I stand up? Hi, Dragons. It's nice to know you guys. Just wanted to ask, you know, with entrepreneurship, it's hard getting to the source, getting to the person you really need to speak to, because you guys are forever busy. And as people that are still trying to grow, are forever trying to get your contact details. That's the issue at hand. So I'm just asking, how can we go about making that happen?
Yeah, how do you get to the top? How do you get to the big guys? I mean, Vinny, when you sold your company now, right? I mean, I'm looking at all the dragons. You don't all have to answer the question because I think it's a pretty straightforward question. Who wants to take this one? But how do you get the attention of the big guys?
The one in the States takes the question. Come on. The question.
He's smiling at us.
Alpha number.
All right. There's his details up there. If you want to look him up on Skype, Vinny Lingham. Everybody add Vinny on Skype and you can get
Absolutely. I mean, in fact, to use Vinny, the guy is now inserted into Silicon Valley. It means that you'd be surprised how small that circle is wherever you go. And I find that I interact with people all the time. The connections are small at that level. And therefore I think we underestimate the value of networking. And that's why I think what you guys are doing here is absolutely incredible, because you don't realize that in 10 years' time, you're all going to be doing this on a higher level. Okay, you've started the process now, but you're going to be doing it on a high level. I remember networking in my early 20s with all these young guys, young entrepreneurs, trying to make it happen, talking shit every day, coming up with ideas, failing, succeeding. These guys are marketing directors, they're big entrepreneurs now, 20 years later, and that's how it works. So we've got an unbelievable opportunity now for the first time in man's history through social networking to get access to a lot of people. Before you meet someone, you can get a full rundown of who they are and what they're about. 10 years ago, that didn't exist. It would be a blind date, literally, even in business. So I find that we don't do that enough. we don't realize the value and the importance of networking. And you know why? It's very simple. Because businesses don't do business with businesses. People do business with people. Okay?
All right. We've got a question over here. Quick question. Go ahead.
My name is Hebron. The question that I have is, how do you actually get to overcome the challenges of being denied funding or either investment based on the potential of your business or either an idea to actually make profit? So, because I think that is the challenge that most of us actually have, because it's a challenge that each and every single entrepreneur has to overcome, but we just don't know how to actually overcome it, because we come across that at different institutions or other entities that have an interest in investing in our businesses. It's not that they cannot invest in our businesses, it's simply because of maybe negative credit record. But how do you then therefore overcome that?
I think Paul is the right one, because we kind of answered that one earlier, right? Because it's about the money, it's about the approach that you make, it's about having all your ducks in a row.
Just to build on the story that he's just shared with you about the investment we did together. We did this investment, it was still at a very early stage, but we invested in it because the entrepreneurs, as he said, had spent the time, made the investment, they had bootstrapped it, and it required a very small amount of funding just to continue to further test it. And without divulging too much information, within a space of less than 12 months, that business has grown by more than 10 times in value. And they've actually been able to raise capital from US investors as a result of that seed capital that we provided. But we believed in the story. So to answer your question very quickly, you need to make the sacrifice. As an investor, I need to see your sweat and tears. I need to see that you have invested in this business. I need to know that you've gone back to your parents' home because you had to sell your car, you had to sell you couldn't afford rent at your flat, you've run out of all your pension money, but here's the product, and it just needs me to take it to the next stage. Very important. Number two, I do think that historically in South Africa we have had an aversion to people who have bad credit record for various reasons. But that mindset is starting to change. So I think you need to start looking, you need to start doing your own due diligence on investors. Because investors are no longer just your traditional banking institutions. You've got a lot of funds like my fund, there are a lot of enterprise development funds who will take the time to understand how did you get the bad credit record and what have you done about it. So if you've got a bad credit record and then you've been playing, what is it, footsie, and running away from your creditors, of course I'm not going to touch you because your past behavior is a reflection of your future behavior. But if you say to me, I got into trouble because of this and that and the other, and this is what I've been doing, I've been paying 50 rand towards it every month or 100 towards it every month, it says to me that you're a person of integrity, you're a person of good character, and I can therefore take a chance with you. So I do think the market is changing. I agree with you that historically we were very averse to anybody with potentially bad credit record.
But guys, I think just to add something that is that at the end of the day, any investor, it doesn't matter who he is, he just wants to trust that his money will come back. That's the bottom line. So if you can prove one way or the other that his money will come back, that's all he wants to know. Unfortunately, some of us, we think that when we get funding, that's the money that we're supposed to use for our lifestyle. You understand what I'm saying? So you just want to chase that 2 million that's been promised for this business plan. After that, that money goes nowhere close to what that business plan had projected. Because immediately we funded another guy for 800,000 rands. He was very close to us in the Eastern Cape. The first thing that he did was to disappear. After the money got into his bank account. He literally disappeared. We did not find the guy anywhere. He comes back to us 6 months later telling us he's broke. We asked him, how far is the project? He says he had not managed to start. You understand what I'm trying to say? So that's why I'm very careful when it comes to giving money away, because we've had bad experiences. All police is just trying to say is that you just need to prove enough that your business can make the money back. But here's the best advice I can give you though. Your client is your best funder, because at least you don't have to pay the money back. You provide a service, he pays you, that money is yours. Thank you.
All right, guys, you know what? Vinny, yes.
Sorry.
What did you say, Vinny?
I'll ask point is just that, I mean, there are different types of investors, and so for example, Liberal and I are very different types of investors. The Liberal wants profits, dividends, whatever, to get paid back his money. What I want to do is make sure that I invest only in companies who I think can keep growing to become really big companies, because I know when a company grows to a certain size, even if it's not profitable, they'll be invested wanting to come in at later stages, and I can exit my shares at that stage. So I don't focus on the profits of the company as much as other investors do. I'm a startup certificate stock, where we basically look to create enterprise value. We look to back companies that go from 3 million rand to 150 million rand for businesses, because at that point there's liquidity in the shares. So when you work with investors, find the right investor for you. If you work with a type of business that's not going to scale to 100, 200 million business, then you need to produce the profits early on, absolutely. But if it is a business that can scale to that level, hopefully $1 billion rand, then you don't. You just need to make sure that you can keep raising funding at the various stages to keep funding the growth. And so just have a good understanding of that dynamic.
Excellent stuff. I'm afraid that we're out of time, folks, but you know what? The book is called, and for all the reasons I'm in, Essential Business Advice for Entrepreneurs. It covers a whole lot of other range of issues which we haven't even had a chance to cover here today, but it's about being inspired, and the dragons have inspired us. I'm going to ask each of the dragons just to say a final 30 seconds. Inspire these entrepreneurs. Give these entrepreneurs hope, guys. I'm going to give you each 30 seconds just to give a closing message for what you think people should walk away with tonight. Plant a seed in their minds tonight. And we'll start off. Who wants to first take at this? Jill?
Okay, I'll make it very simple. I've got 30 seconds. This is like a 30-second elevator pitch. We decided in the makeup dressing room of the show in the studio to put this book together called And For All These Reasons, I'm In. Because on the show they briefed us that whenever we decide, when we're ready, we finish off by saying, and for all these reasons, I'm out. And we felt that it was very important to explain to people, what is it that'll make us say, I'm in? So we took the book is a journey. It starts off, and the first chapter is the DNA of an entrepreneur. What is it that makes you an entrepreneur? And if you're not that entrepreneur, you read the first chapter, you close the book, adios. But if you read the book in the first chapter and you go, geez, this is me. This is my calling. Then you go on to the next chapter, and the next chapter is about the importance of an idea. Is it important to have a good idea or not? What is an idea? Then the next one is about putting a presentation together and so on and so forth. So there's a logical order to the book. It's written very simplistically. It's very honest. It shares all our views, all 5 of the Dragons' views. We don't agree on everything. In fact, we disagree very often, and we put it all in the book. And everything that we make, every cent of the proceeds of this book, all go to an entrepreneurial charity. So it's the least entrepreneurial thing I've ever done.
Nice one.
So all I'm saying is, please, not because I want to make more money, because every cent we make goes to an entrepreneurial charity. If you really are an entrepreneur, trust me and buy this book. That's my elevator pitch.
Paula?
Thanks, Gil. I do think that the book is really worth it from the point of view that it's real. It's not a business school book on entrepreneurship. It's about, as he says, our own stories and what we've experienced with other investments that we've made. And we are actually going to be launching an entrepreneurial development program on the 17th of August, is it? Based on this book, actually. So we're going to turn the book into a teaching manual on entrepreneurship. And that's what the proceeds of the book are actually going to go towards funding this program. Because we're very excited about entrepreneurship, we're very passionate about entrepreneurship. We know the power of entrepreneurship, and we want to make sure that we contribute towards entrepreneurship in this country, because it is so important for the future of our children. So we're really looking forward to that, and I think the details of the program will be announced later on. The book will be out by the end of September in the major bookstores, as was said earlier on. But there are pre-orders, I think, on the Hookup Dinner email and stuff like that. So we really look forward to further engagements. We'll be doing a lot of this, by the way, as we unpack the book. Once it comes out, we're going to be doing a lot of THUD events and you know, where you guys will have an opportunity to engage with us on some of the chapters in the book. So we really look forward to further engagement with you guys on that.
You know, Lucy, I want to add something to your inspirational message, because you're not going to say this yourself, but one thing that I've learned about all of these dragons is no matter how high you get, the success that you can attribute is by staying humble in life. And you're one guy that's just stayed humble. It's true. You know, you won't say it yourself, but I'm going to tell you.
No, I'm really not. Thank you. Yeah, so my closing shot would be that if you're a good entrepreneur, if you're a real entrepreneur, if in your DNA you're really an entrepreneur, you're going to tick a couple of boxes. One of them, you hate paperwork. Second, you're writing a business plan, but you find the process long, laborious, and boring, and you really don't want to do it. 3, you just want to get on with it already. 4, you don't know where the money's going to come from, but you have this thing like, no, the money will just come. Somewhere the money will just. There. And number 5, this is probably the most important, you have this amazing ability to discount all evidence. Everything in your mind suggests what you're doing is wrong. And you have this incredible ability to go, no, but this is right, this is good, the way. You know, it's like, I don't know if you ever been driving on the road, and there's always that lady on the car who, turn right, now. I never listen to the lady, because I think as black people, we've listened to white people for long enough. That's a different story. No, why can't that guy be a comrade? Hey, comrade 10 left. Go now, comrade, now. Anyway. Yeah. So I would say in parting 2 things. Number 1, if you can write a business plan, write it. And then the very first thing you do once that business plan is written, you get a pen and you throw it away. A business plan is a thinking tool. It's not a living document. Your job is to have a business plan help you think through a set of issues so that you know you've thought through those issues. But understand something about entrepreneurship. It's not an Excel spreadsheet. Every Excel spreadsheet says you're going to make money and the costs are going to go down and the profit is going to do this and the customers are going to come. And then you start and the customers are nowhere and the money's not being paid on time and the costs are being paid immediately. So in your mind, I would say, write the business plan, throw it away. And the second thing I would say is, you're going to start badly. It's going to be messy. You're going to fight. You're going to lose your shirt. You're going to fall down. You're going to make silly mistakes. You're going to be money. Just start. Entrepreneurship is an action thing. It's not a thinking thing. You just get on with it and you start. And in truth, it's the learning that you make and the mistakes that will make you a great entrepreneur. That's in chapter 9 of the book, I think. So get the book.
Get the book, guys. They said. And I'm going to ask one thing. All I'm going to say to you is find your advantage. Okay? I'm going to ask him, can you sing?
Yes.
Can you sing?
Yes.
Just do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Apparently he can dance
Okay.
though. And he told me lively.
The idea here is that once you find your advantage, you've got to strengthen your business. That is you. If you don't have an advantage anywhere else, you find everyone else that will complement those disadvantages. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, secondly, when you are not finding the advantage, that is you. Do not force yourself because you're passionate about that space. If you cannot sing, admit that you cannot sing. Hire someone who can sing and produce a record. Do not try to sing yourself. Okay? Secondly, because you're gonna go and balance yourself on idols, and we all don't want none of that. Secondly, is that once you have found your mojo, your advantage, then build yourself all around that advantage. That's all I'm saying to you. Find everyone else to complement you because you don't want to embarrass yourself in the marketplace. You say you are creative director and yet you are not creative. Thank you.
Yeah, well, that's good advice. And Vinny, you've been listening to everything. I mean, what advice can you give our entrepreneurs here tonight in a closing comment?
I'll give the advice I always give out to everyone. Focus. You know, one of the things that annoy me the most with entrepreneurs starting out for the first time is, I mean, they've got this amazing vision. In long term, they can think through what the business is going to be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, but they cannot execute the day-to-day, the month-to-month. And that's because they're so focused on where the company is going to be and not where the company is today. And so it's really important just to focus on what is it you're building, who is the customer, and how do you make money or how do you build this business, and keep it as simple as possible. You know, the more complexity you add to business, the more execution risk you have in it. Find one thing, do it exceptionally well, and sell it to as many people as possible, as many companies as possible, until you cannot sell anymore. Then add other products and services, then start getting creative with what you want to go. But establish a beat choice for the business, something that you can be famous for, something that people can recognize your company for. Don't do 20 things, do one thing really well.
Thank you so much. That's Vinny Lingham, ladies and gentlemen, on the line from Los Angeles, I think, where you know, San Francisco. Gilavet on the other side, Lebo Gunguluza, Polo Leteka, and Vusi Tembakwaya. Let's give our dragons a round of applause.